Okay, guys, I think we're live now. So I think we were live for about a minute and then we lost the feed. Now we're back up. So I apologize for the lost feed, but let me go back and start again for those who missed the first part of our meeting here. In our meeting today is Allie Head, teacher rep, Angela Hardaway, teacher rep, Lori Brubaker, our parent rep, Michelle Fuquay, our parent rep, Parker Driscoll, our teacher rep, Simon Hansen is our student rep, and Coach Hall is another teacher rep. I appreciate everybody logging on today for the first virtual Davis County High School SBDM meeting. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started as we have a lot to cover today. All right, the first item on the agenda is an observation, a moment of silence as we begin another meeting of the DCHS Site-Based Council. Let us take a few moments to reflect quietly on our day, this meeting, our activities, and what we hope to accomplish here together on this occasion. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I do need you all to unmute when you do come back with a motion to pass the agenda. Anybody opposed to the agenda at this time, please unmute and state your reasoning. I just need a motion to pass.
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have two motions to pass the approval of the agenda. Thank you very much. Next is the approval of the minutes from the February 24th. Yes, it's been that long, but from our February 24th meeting. Just looking for two motions to pass. If you have any questions, you can ask at this time as well.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion has been approved. We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Motion has passed for the approval of the minutes. Next is the financial report that we must approve for the 2021 school year. Just a couple of things. Everything looks great from my end as far as the school budget for next year. Keep in mind with the current status we're in with the COVID-19 is that we expect as a district there will be budget cuts. Any cuts that come our way in the future, I'll let Site-Based know. These could be extreme cuts based on our current situation moving into next school year. We won't have a number for you. Could be late in the summer. It could be, we just don't know. There's no crystal ball on this, and we want to alert you as far as Site-Based members what those cuts will be and what Davis County High School will be doing about that. Those budgets were sent to you. Any questions about the financial report from Ms. Hoffman, our bookkeeper? If not, we need a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I
Second.
just need a second. Okay, second has been made. Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Motion is passed for the approval of next year's school budget. So let's go right into our next item on the agenda, which is our standing item here that we put all of school improvement and instruction on. There's two items that are on there that are listed that we need to discuss and that you have copies of. First is the proposal for the PE credit, and you should have a copy of that. It's in a letterhead form. See if I can find my copy here. We just passed it for next. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Okay. So just to go over this really quick, okay, is that we are proposing for the half PE credit that our freshmen usually get. We are proposing this. Okay. Any student that participates in high school sports could earn that half PE credit for the graduation requirement. There are some stipulations from the state that I want to make you aware of, okay? The district must have a performance-based policy in place, which we do. We've had that for a while now. All standards found in the physical education, as far as educational standards, have to be met, and districts must define how they will assess the standards and related performance descriptors. A lot of this is taken care of just from PE teachers that are coaches. But here's how Davis County High School would like to take care of this moving forward, is that our trainer, our physical education trainer and teacher, is going to be taking care of that. They'll be writing out plans for each sport, each KHSAA sport, to follow for training purposes and throughout the season, that cover all of our standards on the PE side of things, on the educational side of things. So as of right now, for next school year, when he writes those plans out, anytime that we are audited or someone from the state would come in to make sure that we're covering what we are doing, Coach Leach will have those documents ready, and we'll be able to have all of our bases covered there. As well as you all know, a lot of our activities here at Davis County High School run for a long, long time, whether it be a sport or marching band. A lot of those extracurricular activities run for a long length of time. What we're asking is for the site base to approve just the half credit that most freshmen get. This is another opportunity. Not only, I think, will it encourage kids to maybe join a team or sport, but it also frees up their schedule. And we do this in other areas as well. We are asking for this area to be covered, to have the opportunity for kids to gain that half credit, and it opens up their daily schedule at Davis County High School. So that's the first item under the school improvement and instruction, is the PE credit. I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to mute myself for just a second and open it up for questions at this time. Okay, I'm not hearing any. And so I just need a motion for the first reading. This is the first reading. We have to have 2 readings over this item. I just need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, second's been made. Any opposed? I think I covered that with questions. Item is passed for the first reading of the proposal for the PE credit. Next item under school improvement and instruction is the first reading of the proposal for the biology credit. That was also sent to you from me. This is a central office initiative. This is 2 years of Life Science Academy completion to count as a student's biology credit, beginning with students enrolled in the program, currently rising sophomores, and those students who follow behind them. Basically, 2 years of life science would be awarded a biology credit here at Davis County High School. On Friday, I introduced this to our curriculum committee in a Google Meets. Overwhelmingly, they were in support of this, as I didn't receive any negative comments towards it. I think this, again, is another opportunity for our students. I will be monitoring the curriculum along with central office to make sure our kids are covered with the curriculum. As far as biology, we have a state test that is issued in biology, and we want to make sure that the curriculum is covered so that our students do well on that test. And so we're going to monitor that along with central office staff to ensure that that takes place. Just want you to know Apollo passed it at their last site-based meeting last week. And so it's another opportunity, not only for our kids, but for our district kids as well, for those who are taking the Life Science Academy. Okay. I will mute again and see if there's any questions for our first reading.
Mr. Mason, since this is just dealing with the biology, do we not at this point need to even talk about if they only complete 1 year of life science versus 2?
Repeat that one more time, Ms. Hardaway. You cut out for just a second.
I'm sorry. Since we're just talking about the biology credit, they have to complete 2 years. Do we need to, at this point, discuss if they only complete 1 year? Or is that just a different conversation?
Well, this is going to be enacted for this school year. They have to have 2 years before they get any kind of credit. So if they're in their 1 year right now, it would be next year when they receive the biology credit. not this current year. So they have to have 2 complete years. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, just in the future, if they only complete 1 year. So for kids who are coming after this group, if they only complete 1 year, that we're counting that year as a science elective versus their personalized science credit. Do we have to, does that need to be in the minutes as well?
No, this doesn't even address that. This is just for the 2 years. There's no elective piece in there. This is just to appease the biology side of things. Just so the council knows, we talked about another possible elective credit that students, their 3rd year, would have a choice of choosing. And that issue came up, and that was overwhelmingly, and the curriculum committee turned down. That's why I'm not even bringing it up to our site-based committee, because it didn't pass that first level of our school policy, our school curriculum committee.
Okay.
Okay.
Question. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Okay, I just need a motion to approve the first reading.
Motion to approve.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, motion is passed to approve the first reading of the proposed Life Science Academy biology credit for Davis County High School. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about other things under school improvement and instruction. Okay, I'm going to try to find my list of items that I want to cover so that we cover all of our bases here. Let's talk about NTI instruction up to this point. A lot of things have happened since our last meeting. I've sent out the board revision of the grading policy. I think our students and parents and staff have reviewed that policy. Just to go over a few things that I want to mention. Not only is the grading scale changed, that will be on all 4th week 9 classes and any semester class related to that 4th 9 week as well. A couple stipulations I want to read here, just to reiterate the document that you have. There is a second chance to improve their grade. Any student that had an average of a C or higher prior to the start of NTI qualifies for the second chance. Student will be able to submit late assignments. Teachers are monitoring that along with our instructional coach on those students that need that second chance and who qualify for that. The next piece I want to talk to you about is the hardship waivers. We're going to be getting documentation on any hardship waiver paper that needs to be filled out by our staff or any students who qualifies for hardships under these categories. Providing primary financial support to family members, primary child care provider for family, limited or no English language skills, or sick with COVID-19. Students may request a waiver, or the school may request a waiver on behalf of the students. Students will submit hardship waiver requests to the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. That will come from our teachers on our end through our instructional coach. Karen Alward will be working with teachers on those students who would qualify or request a waiver. Those waivers will be filled out with the student and the teacher. The teacher will then give it to Ms. Alward. Ms. Alward will let me review those, and we'll send those on to Ms. Francis, our Assistant Superintendent at Central Office. We will have some of those. I've had some students and parents question me on that. We are just waiting on the documentation from Central Office to move forward as we move closer to the end of school. The following waiver requests are available. 4th quarter only class removed from transcript. For any 4th quarter only class, students may request a waiver to remove it completely from their transcript. This would be listed as a dropped class with no penalty to GPA. There's some stipulations there, of course, with underclassmen versus seniors. All right, graduation. Here's the other stipulation to request waivers. Seniors may apply for a hardship graduation waiver. It will allow a student to graduate with the state minimum requirements of 22 credits. So as I read that, just to reiterate to you that a senior with an elective that's not a requirement to graduate can drop that from their transcript with no penalty if they qualify for that waiver. Okay, there is an appeals process as well that goes through Central Office. If we do have students that have applied and get rejected, they can appeal that process through Central Office with Ms. Francis when we get to that point. So let's talk about the NTI atmosphere. Starting out, it was a little rocky. This has been hard for everybody, but I like a good challenge because I think it's going to make everybody better. not only our staff learning how to do this, and we were well in front of this because we've had our one-to-one initiative for many, many years. And we're lucky to live in a place where most people have internet access. Only a few students that we've had to work with that have not had internet access, but most students have devices. And it's just been we just needed time to navigate through this process, not only with teachers and students, but with the parents at home as well. It's been hard on everybody. I think at the high school level, some of the issues and concerns that I'm hearing are students who work during the day that have to provide for their families. That's an issue. We've had some students suffer some hardships, with some sick parents and some family issues. I'm really worried about our kids and miss our kids. Of course, I'm not able to see them every day and really check up on them like I would want to and like our teachers would want to. I think there's been good communication with teachers and students. As far as I know, teachers are doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as checking their email and responding. I have not had any issues with that. On the school side of things, it's just been it's been difficult starting out. I think we're navigating through this as well as possible. But I want to reiterate to our council that we're one of the only school districts that are moving forward with curriculum. We're not reviewing curriculum. So when these students come back to us next school year, and hopefully we start school year as normal as possible, we're not behind the 8 ball where we're constantly reviewing to catch up. Will there be some review? Absolutely. But I think we're, as a district, well ahead of where most places are in the state of Kentucky because we had some things in place. But the atmosphere, it's been difficult. I know a lot of you have been overwhelmed. I myself have been overwhelmed with questions, and being able to be accessed all hours of the day has been a challenge. But I always think challenges make us better as people. And I think the opportunities for us to do something like this, as far as missing school days in the future, are going to be even better. And there's going to be some opportunities there. I want to reiterate the last day for NTI is May 8th. Okay, the last day of school will be May 8th with some grace period in there for students to turn in work. So here's what I'm recommending to teachers. Okay, on May 4th, I want teachers to, in their NTI documentation, only have one assignment to be sent out. This should be their last assignment on May 4th. All other days after May 4th need to be a recovery of assignments, okay, or studying for the AP exam with your teachers, some enrichment with your teachers, some one-on-one time with interventions with your teachers. I want teachers to have that time, to work with students more on review, intervention, enrichment type opportunities. It's also going to give our teachers some time to get grades in accordingly and to post those grades in an efficient manner. May 11th is when we're trying to have all senior grades posted and finalized before I move into graduation and what that looks like. That's why we need those senior grades in as quickly as possible for on-campus classes. May 14th, I believe, is when the off-campus, as far as OCTC and other colleges, are turning in grades to us. So we have to work quickly. So May 11th is when we're looking for all senior grades to be as finalized as we possibly can. So that's why we're trying to initiate a May 4th for the last assignments, and teachers should be scaling back on assignments this week leading into May 4th. May 4th will be the last assignment given, and all other assignments, unless it's a long-term assignment, all other assignments should be recovery assignments or missed assignments for teachers to have an opportunity to work more one-on-one with students. Some enrichment opportunities are possible. And I know some students in AP classes are reviewing for AP exams with their teachers as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there before I go on to my next item, which is graduation, and I'm going to mute myself because I know there might be some questions about NTI and what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and mute and give you guys a chance to speak about NTI.
Mr. Mason, I have a couple of questions for you. The second chance that the students get to improve their grades, they had a C or better, Um, will the teachers get a list of those students who had a C or better before? And how long will they have to turn in their work?
Okay, on that documentation, it says May 23rd, basically 15 days after the last day from May 8th. That's how long they will have. If you can't see it in Infinite Campus on who had a C or better at the time we started NTI work, we can probably capture that. I'm looking at Coach Hall. He's in my office right now. Can we capture that for? Okay. Teachers will most likely have to work with their students that had a C or better. I'm just going to be honest. I think all of our teachers, I haven't heard of one teacher or student issue where people are not working together to try to get some things turned in and some things done. So I ask you to use your best judgment on that. If we can capture that and send out a list, we'll try to do that. I don't have affirmative answer for you right now. Coach Hall is kind of giving me that shrug as well. It's just a logistical Infinite Campus issue. Moving forward, I just ask teachers until we have definite answers to use common sense with that. Moving forward on who you need to work with. I think you know who you need to work with, but really and truly, there's a grace period for everybody in this because we're asking, May 4th to be your last assignment, and then grades won't be finalized until closer to the end of school. So as you move forward, just navigate through that process and work with any student who you feel you need to work with on that second chance. There's issues across the board. Your kids better than I do. So great question.
Okay, another question that I have, senior grades are due May 11th. When are underclassmen grades due?
Okay, I'll get back with you on that. Coach Hall had the same question before site-based meeting on logistical issues. We'll get that information out to teachers as fast as we can. Because of that grace period, we want to make sure that we capture those grades and get those grades in. But we always have Miss Kelly Lewis and guidance for any grade changes, even if we have a specific date and grades are still turned in or assignments are still turned in until that May 23rd deadline. So Kelly Lewis can go back and put those grades in for any changes that we have. Any other questions? Okay, guys. So let's move on to graduation. I don't have any details right now as far as what graduation looks like, and here's why. The district is working with all the high schools, Heritage, us, and Apollo, on making plans to do whatever we can necessary under the restrictions and guidelines by the state and local health agencies to celebrate and have a ceremony of some form or fashion under the current circumstances, the best that we can. But we received word late Friday afternoon that the governor has halted all plans right now until further notice. So this is coming from Matt Robbins, our superintendent. He is on a phone call with the governor, as well as all the other superintendents in the state of Kentucky, supposedly Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this week. I know that the Gulfport model has been sent to him, and he has disapproved of that. And so we're all kind of scratching our heads of what this all looks like May 15th. I don't have the plans that we had are kind of sitting there right now, moving forward. I can tell you this, we wanted student input. Let me just read you some results. Overwhelmingly, okay, we had about 221 students reply to the senior survey that was sent out with a variety of things to choose from and also a chance to write in. We wanted to hear from our seniors on this. And it was overwhelmingly this, to have something now and to have something if restrictions are lifted more formally, like a traditional graduation. And moving forward, we are planning for that. If restrictions are lifted in a time frame where we can do that, we are going to do that. Okay. We heard from our students, I think it was across the board in our district as well, that students really want that that traditional type of graduation if restrictions are lifted, and we're gonna do the best that we can to honor that. Here's some concerns that I have. We want to honor our students on May 15th the best that we can under the guidelines for a lot of reasons. It's important that we give them their diploma because a lot of these students we won't see again to do that and won't have a chance to celebrate, like students going into the military, students leaving for college early, students that have to work. They need these diplomas now on May 15th, and it's important for us to give them those diplomas during the scheduled time that we were going to do it. What that looks like, how we're going to do it, we don't know until we hear from the governor. So we're kind of at a standstill with that, along with several other things. And it takes a lot of planning to make this happen. So once we hear back from the superintendent after he talks to the governor, we are going to be planning like no other, because it is an undertaking to do any type of ceremony, whether it be a traditional one like we're used to, a virtual one, a drive-through type situation. We don't know what that looks like. And so there's a lot of uncertainty until we hear from the governor. Once we do that, you will hear from me, and you will hear from our district office as well on what that looks like moving forward. But we're under the gun here. I mean, we're just a few weeks away, and literally we start planning for graduation 30 days out and farther to make this a Davis County High School traditional event, which we want, which is very, very special. I think we do one of the best ceremonies around that I have seen, and we want to do that for these students as well. It's important to them. But I want to make one thing clear, is that our students are making a huge sacrifice for the greater good. This is a huge undertaking. This is a very sad time, but I do want our students to know that because they're down. They're a lot of them are depressed about certain issues from the school side of things, from just life in general. And I want them to know that they are making a sacrifice for the greater good, not only our community and our state and our country, but for the world. This is going on everywhere, and they are doing what they can to keep us safe. And I appreciate that, by everybody staying at home and doing what they need to do. It's a big undertaking. We're not used to this. This is a first in my lifetime. But you know what? We're going to be better because of it. And I often say that to students. In order to reveal the powers within us, we got to challenge ourselves. And so this is a sad time. They're missing out on a lot of different events. We're going to honor those the best that we can. So like our senior awards night, Tommy Joe Leisner, our guidance counselor, is preparing for that. More information will be coming to you for that. And we're going to have that event no matter what. And we're going to do it to the best of our abilities to honor seniors. That's one thing that is separate from graduation we're going to continue to do. As of right now, we don't have a rescheduled date for prom either, just because we don't know what that looks like moving forward. All I can tell you right now is that the May 9th date at the Heinz Center, we can't do it. I wish I had a crystal ball for all of this, but we're not even to level 1 yet, where we can, have 10 people in a setting. And then we have to wait 14 days from level 1 and 14 days to level 2. And then level 3 is when we can have a social gathering or a traditional type of ceremony. And that's, if we started today, that would be a month out. And we don't know, with new testing sites being open, one here in Owensboro tomorrow, we don't know what that looks like. And that initiative has to come from the governor. And so here's what I do know, is that I am seeing some great things happening. I'm going to cover a lot of those with good news, which is next. But a lot of great things I'm seeing out in the community when we delivered those signs. For instance, I got to see some kids and some parents and just have a conversation with them from afar. It's nice to see that. I drive by here all the time. I'm here all the time at Davis County High School from dusk until dawn, basically, or dawn till dusk. And my days get tangled up. But just the other day when I was driving through the parking lot, there were probably 4 or 5 students in our parking lot. And they were doing what the governor has said with social distancing. But it was just nice to see them having conversations. I just honked my horn and waved. I don't know if they knew who I was, but, I just kind of honked and waved at them. And I was impressed to see that. And we're seeing all these great things happening around our community and our state and our country. But man, our students, our seniors especially, are making a sacrifice for the greater good. And I know this is a difficult time, but we'll get through this, and we're going to do graduation the best we can. I can't promise you anything. I don't have a crystal ball, but graduation will take place. Overwhelmingly, our students, I have the data right here. Out of the 221, 79% of them want a formal graduation where they're honored and they walk across the stage like we do at the Sports Center. Will we have that opportunity? I don't know. If we do, we're going to take advantage of it the best that we can. And that's basically where I am right now. I don't have any more details for you. I know that Owensboro Public Schools sent out information that they're waiting to hear from the governor as well. And I'm getting emails all the time, and some really good ones and some really bad ones about graduation. But all I can tell you is we're going to do the best that we can. And we just don't know what that looks like right now until we hear from the governor. I know a lot of other school districts have already put out their dates and everything else. And that's tough to do when we don't know where we're going to be. And so we have another meeting from, secondary principals and the superintendent coming up tomorrow. And hopefully we know more then so we can get information out and people can start planning. But plan on this, May 15th, we're going to be giving diplomas to our kids because they have to have those diplomas in hand. And we're talking about things, just talking out loud right now about having different things for separate. I think we have 8 or 9 kids going into the military. We don't know when they're leaving for the military. A lot of that is on standstill, but some of them have to report based on what they're going into in the military. It's important for us to get their diplomas and celebrate that the best we can, because they might not be able to come back and do a traditional type of thing. Many students will be going off to college. Many students will be going off to work. And so it looks a little different at the high school, but we're going to plan, like I said, as best we can moving forward. We're just at a standstill. Okay. And I will keep you posted on that, and the different events and ceremonies and awards, moving forward. A lot of information hasn't been coming from me on that aspect because we just don't know, where we are. But I looked, this week to know that and to know what we can and cannot do as far as awarding and having ceremonies and events at this time moving forward. Okay. I'm going to mute just for a second. And I'll mute.
I was just going to ask real quick. So the May 15th, you were saying, giving those diplomas out, would that be to everyone, or would that just be the ones who, like you said, military work, going other places or whatever? But I mean, I totally get it. I have a senior, but I also know, like you said, I feel more for the ones who won't get the opportunity to have that actual ceremony. So anyway, so would that be for everyone, or is that just for the ones that we're looking at?
Well, it'd be for everybody.
Okay,
The military ones we know of. What we don't know is who needs them right now to go for work purposes, which we do know there's a lot of them. We just don't know specific kids. But it's important to give them their diplomas. How we give them, I don't know. I do not know if we can. I just miss that interaction. I miss that personal interaction, being up on a stage and looking out and seeing our graduates with that sense of accomplishment from, up high on the stage, and me talking to them and the superintendent. And, it gets emotional, and, but we're going to do it the best we can. But we're going to have something on May 15th, because if we don't capture that moment, not knowing where we're going to be August 1st or Christmas of next year, not knowing where we're going to be, this might be the only time that we get to honor them in some form or fashion, because we don't know. And that's a little disheartening. I'm coming from the bad end of things, but we hope to be optimistic, and we have been planning behind the scenes. We're just kind of at a standstill at a formal graduation in front of people and have a live audience, just like a traditional one. But we don't know when that will be because of restrictions right now.
I'm just glad to hear that it would be for everyone, only because, like you said, even if it's 15 kids going to the military, and this kid is going to this college, and this person has soccer going off somewhere else, and training and whatever. I hate for those, their connections and their people to come and watch that. So it'd just be nice to have everyone. So, but I like to having like something for that. And I speak that probably obviously for all the parents and kids. So, but, and I think they understand. I know mine understands like what this is so much bigger than all of us. So, yeah.
Yeah. I wish we could control it and have I just wish we could control it, but we can't. And, and so whatever we can do under the restrictions, if it allows for even one parent to be a part of that, and we stream it live or whatever that looks like, I'm open to any way to do it the best that we can with the most people involved, and do it on May 15th. I just think it's important, and we all agreed across the district, it's important to get those diplomas in hand. I just hope the governor takes into consideration all of these things that I have to worry about and you all have to worry about as parents and as teachers and as principals, in order to do it in a fashion that uses common sense, but in some form or fashion is a ceremony, is an event where we honor our grads in some form or fashion. The worst case scenario is to mail diplomas, and nobody wants to do that. That's not
Doesn't feel
that's not anywhere close. Yeah, nobody wants to do that. Nobody, but we don't know. We don't know until we hear from the governor. I hope to have more information to everybody middle of the week.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? I know that's a lot of information for me. I just don't know. I just don't have a lot for you on that.
I just have one question. You mentioned wanting to do a traditional form or fashion, whatever's allowable, and you said within a time frame. What does that time frame look like for you?
Yeah, we don't know. We
so
don't
would you
know.
be willing, if it doesn't even happen until next year, is that still on the table for a formal gathering if it's allowable?
Yeah, I don't know. Lori, and I can't answer that at all. I hope it's July 1. I hope July 1 the restrictions are even lifted and we can get something together in time before students go off to school and do whatever they're doing. Do I think there's some relevancy to it? Yes, I do think there's some relevancy because we're close to it right now. The further we get along, and the further students get off to college, get off to work, they are moving on with their life. And so to do it when it's relevant and honor them in a time frame, I don't know what relevancy is. That means something different for me and from the superintendent and from parents. When we can honor those graduates, I can't answer that right now until we get more information moving forward. I don't think anybody can answer that, but I know everybody wants me or the superintendent to put out a date, but we just can't do that right now.
All right, thank you.
Okay. As I said, we're still going to have senior awards night moving forward. Let's get to some good news. Let me find that document because we can all use some good news, right? Number one, without even looking at the document, the senior signs that were put in yards was tremendous. I sent the email out to staff, and then within 10 minutes, we had 40 staff members volunteer to do that. Appreciation goes out to our guidance department, Mr. Alward, to help to get those signs in. That was a 3-week process just to get signs in. We've been waiting that long for 400 signs to come in. I'm delivering one more right after our meeting. Out of the 400, I think we left off one student, not on purpose. I don't know how they got left off, but they didn't receive a sign. I'm going to be delivering that right after our site-based meeting just up the road here. But that was great to see all the pictures coming in and a chance for our staff to see some students if they saw them and some parents moving forward. It was tremendous. And I think that's something we might have started some tradition there. I know this was the first year and you really can't call it a tradition yet, but I think that's something moving forward that we might do and continue on with. All right, so we are planning, I'm just going to read the good news report here to you. We are planning a virtual senior awards night with several surprise senior awards. Similar format to our normal awards night, but in video form. We will have a live viewing when the link goes live for everyone to view at the same time. That date will be announced. We're just working out the logistics on that. Excuse me. Commonwealth Honors Academy, Evan Harvella, U of L Yarmouth Book Award, Chloe Jones, Governor School Entrepreneurship, Isabella Sailors, Governor School for the Performing Arts, it looks like Emma Smith, Emma Lou Tidwell, Philip Kalbick, let's see, Camden Clark, Benjamin Robinson, and Bo Stratton. That's GSP, sorry. GSE was Isabella Sailors. So we just got those names in last week on what we call GSP for the most part, or entrepreneurship at Governor's School in the summer. That's tremendous. We had several individuals qualify for that. Congratulations to those students. That's great. Mason Thompson was accepted to Brown University and will be attending for free. Woo! Jay Powers received the University of Kentucky Singletary Scholarship. That is the highest scholarship that you can receive from the University of Kentucky. Let's see. Jada Prater made the virtual senior video showcasing their struggles, but also celebrating their journey. It was shared all over social media and highlighted in the local newspaper as well. I'm glad that I saw that. That is tremendous. A lot of students doing amazing things right now. Ashton Payne started a senior college commitment page for the class of 2020, featuring our seniors and their college plans. Follow them at dc.seniors2020. Over 120 seniors are featured already. Great job. Jenna Early, also a member of the senior class, created a virtual video thanking teachers, including lots of DCHS students. It was shared and loved by teachers and students on Facebook in support of Teacher Appreciation Week. I had several comments from students right when I needed them, just telling us we're doing a good job. And that's always refreshing when you tell somebody they're doing a great job. DC senior yard signs were delivered again. Thanks to Chad Howard, Kelly Powers, and Megan Nicodemus for organizing that. That was a bigger the undertaking than what you think, is trying to cipher those addresses out because we're a huge county. Should be celebrating college signings virtually in the coming month. I've been talking with Larry Loxton on the sports side of things to see how we can do a virtual signing party. More information to come, but many athletes, even though they're missed out on their season, will be signing letters of intent to play their sports in college. We want to try to keep that tradition as we have in years past and try to have some type of virtual signing party and celebration for those kids. Would anybody else like to add to the good news?
I don't have anything to add, but how do you get to some of those things that you said that the students produce, like the one thing, the video thanking the teachers? You said there are several things that you said that students had produced. How do we get to those things to see them?
Well, some of them have been sent out via email through my daily emails, or Miss Anderson sending things out, or you just run across them on Facebook like I did, or some kind of other social media. I'll try to find some of those and send those out to staff.
We've also posted a bigger machine page, Angela. My students wrote little stories about them, and they are on that if you follow that page on social media. So
say that again. You broke up when.
If you look up our Big Red Machine online page on Facebook, both of those videos are there too, with little stories that students have written about them.
All right, thank you.
Another good news that I forgot that was left off of here is that our sports parade that we had, I thought it was tremendous. For those senior athletes who didn't have a chance to participate in any of their spring sports. It was a great turnout, and I was a little nervous about that just because of social distancing, and I'm here to say almost everybody, not almost, everybody did what they were supposed to. It was a great night to honor those students, and for those that this was just for spring sport athletes, I want to reiterate something to you that they didn't have a chance. This was their senior night. So instead of having it on the baseball, softball field, or tennis court, that was their senior night. the best that we could possibly provide at this time. I was up on, I sent that out to staff, and I think I sent it out to students as well from up on the roof. I wanted to get a clear picture, and I think Chris also did a drone picture of it as well. So it was a great night. We're going to try to do similar things like with, senior awards night and moving forward. Any event that we can do virtually will be great. Any other good news?
Shalina Malay got into Gatton Academy. She's a sophomore. And Austin White got into MIT. So that's a pretty big news. Yeah. So congratulations to both of them.
Yeah, and then we'll have a lot more good news when we do that senior awards night as far as scholarships and who gets what awards on the school side of things. So great stuff going on. We don't want to forget about all these awards and recognition. So stay tuned for more of those recognitions. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward to student communication. Simon, I want to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thanks for the signs. I've talked to a lot of my friends in my class, and we really appreciated that. It warms my heart and everyone else as well, just to know that, despite the fact that life kind of is getting harder, that we're still in your thoughts, and we appreciate that as well. Also, we also appreciate the survey. I had a lot of people come to me about prom questions and graduation questions, and pretty much just wanting some type of form of ceremony, like the survey indicated. And I think that you're doing a good job, and not obviously, everyone's asking for dates, and everyone wants specifics, but it's kind of over even your head right now, which kind of scares the students a bit, but that's fine. I'm sure the governor will try and work something out for everybody eventually. Also, the thing that most people in my class that have talked to me, they are saddest about, isn't necessarily the fact that, the graduation. I mean, obviously we'd like a formal ceremony, but it's just the lack of closure that we're not going to get to have with a lot of our mentors and friends that we might not be that close with, but probably won't see again for a very long time. And so on behalf of the senior class, I just like to thank all our educators, because they've taught us more than, or you all have taught us more than about just life. And there's nothing in the classroom, no amount of curriculum can ever, I don't know how to phrase it, but nothing transcends the pure life lessons that some educators, that like Steve Goodward, who's retiring, that will never, a lot of people will never get to think again. So that's the one big regret, beside everything, it's just that lack of closure. But with that challenge being the lack of closure, I think that we're gonna learn how to keep the people that we never get to say goodbye to in our thoughts. And I'm sure that once everything settles down, that we'll have an opportunity to tell everyone how much they mean to us. And that's the biggest positive I've gotten from all of this, really, since talking to my friends, that we appreciate normalcy a lot more. I mean, I know I didn't really know or get how good we had it until we didn't anymore. And so it's just kind of a wake up call. And so, I mean, life isn't terrible, because it could still be worse. But I think everyone's just kind of doing their best to keep it together. And, we definitely appreciate school more. That's for sure. So just thanks again to all you all for keeping us in your thoughts. Thanks for doing a good job with graduation. And really that's all I have. So.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate you sharing your views, and appreciate you communicating student thought there. I'm sure you've received some emails and some communication from students. Let's move on into teacher communication. Teachers. Okay, I think I've been trying to answer questions from teachers over this extended time period, and we've been working with teachers daily on issues. So it doesn't surprise me that teachers have questions at this time. I want to move into parent communication.
Mr. Mason, I don't have anything extra to add. Basically, the only parents that I've heard from are parents of seniors that had questions about graduation, but I think you've covered that as much as you can at this time.
Okay, thank you, parents. And like I said, we will be over communicating with things coming to us and getting information out with all students so that parents are well informed and students and our staff as well. Okay, we didn't receive any questions leading up to the meeting. I'm sure I'm going to get some questions after the meeting on public comment. So just be ready for those. If teachers have comments to you teachers, please pass those along after the meeting. Also, students and parents, if you get questions after this meeting, feel free to share if you need to share with me. Like I said, I'm available 24/7 these days, and I will try to get back with people in a timely fashion. Just hang in there. We're gonna be okay, and we're gonna do what we do best. It's always a good day to be a Panther, and we're gonna do what we can for our students and our staff and our community. Before we go into a closed session, and I'm gonna have to. That's a format we have to follow to go into a closed session. Any prior meeting concerns and follow up at this time? Okay, couple of things here. Before we get to a motion to go into closed session, the video feed from YouTube will go down, and then we will come back, and we cannot start the meeting again until that feed comes back up live to close the meeting. There are no other items on the agenda except for the closure of the meeting. If people at home want to stay logged in, that's fine. After the meeting, we're just going to have a motion to adjourn and talk about the next meeting date on May 18th. But at this time, and Simon, I'm going to have to ask you to log out too, because we're going into closed session to talk about personnel issues. So you'll have to log out. Are you going to stay logged out, Simon? Or are you going to come back to the meeting?
I really don't have any other student concerns other than that. So if there's something y'all need from me, I mean, feel free to email me, or anything that I need to know about. Just to let my student council members or other students know. I mean, that's fine, but I can just go ahead and log out if you need me to.
Okay, Simon, and it's good to hear your voice, brother.
Hey, you too, man.
And to see you. You look like you're a gamer with that headset on.
I've taken it up, actually. I never thought I'd get back into it, but I have free time on my hands, so we'll see.
Okay, Simon, we'll see you at the next meeting.
All right.
And like I said, email me anytime or call me if you have any student concerns. Okay.
All right, we'll do. Thanks, man. Have a good day, y'all.
All right, see ya. All right, we need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion.
Okay, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, motion has been passed to go into closed session. We're just going to pause for a minute until I get word that the YouTube feed is going to close, and then we'll go into a closed session. So stand by. Okay, guys, we are now live back in open session. We had a motion and a second to come back into open meeting. I just want to say just a few words in closing. I'm already receiving text messages and emails from people with questions. Everybody's going to have questions about moving forward, a lot of uncertainty moving forward. I'll try to get as much information out there and communicate with our school stakeholders as possible. With the restrictions that we have, we just don't know where we're going to be. And that's a little frightening moving forward. But what I do know this is that we have several people that are resilient. And I'm talking about our school community. There's nothing more powerful than the human spirit. I'm so grateful to be the principal of a school and where we have a lot of great things going on here, a lot of great students, a lot of great parents and staff members. Couldn't be more blessed to be in a school that we're in and in a community in times like this. So I appreciate everybody being online today and joining our meeting from home, and also our site-based council meeting on Google Meets. Who knows how many times we'll have to do this moving forward. But our next item on the agenda is the next meeting date, which is May 18th, 2020. If we have to have a special call meeting beforehand because of the situation, we'll, of course, advertise that in a timely fashion, because May 18th usually is kind of a summary of the year and moving forward, getting ready for summer. But we might need to get back together to discuss some important items beforehand. If we need to, we'll call special call meetings. So stand by for communication or be looking for communication moving forward. Next item is just a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Need a second? All right, Angela, second. Anybody opposed? All right, guys, thank you so much. And thank you at home for joining us today. We had almost 20 people viewing from home. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and thank you, Site-Based, and we will see you soon, okay?
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too.